groomed to lead in the elite, it's like the Fight Club. You never leave the Fight Club. If you're groomed, you're inside. It's almost like a no-touch rule. You can't be killed. Your sons can be killed. Your jobs can be taken. You can be destitute, but you're supposed to be breathing because you're an example to the rest of the leaders or the rest of the cabal. See?
Because you turned them down.
Right. It's like being nailed to a post or a cross. So yeah, because then you have to be punished. Now, it flips the other way too for you. What happens is if you are assigned a target, we call them targets, if you're assigned a target and you fail to do your function that you were given and rewarded for, now you're going to pay the price within the cabal, even though you're in the cabal. See, it's not a cohesive, congruent animal. It's not something where they love each other and it's all roses and hugs. Really, there's a lot of infighting within the cabal. It is a fight.
Aloha and welcome to another show, guys. Joining us today is Tom Althouse. He is the man behind the original script he claims inspired The Matrix. In his 30s, Tom wrote a visionary story called The Immortals, a project he pitched to Warner Brothers. What he didn't anticipate was that his work would allegedly be taken and transformed into The Matrix. After years of battling powerful forces in Hollywood, Tom is still fighting to reclaim the credit for his creation, but this fight goes beyond just his work. Tom believes that his refusal to comply with certain powerful groups led to the tragic murders of his two sons. He believes their deaths were meant as a message that those in control hold the power, and that he must suffer for choosing not to join them. In this interview, Tom opens up about this deeply personal battle, seeking not only recognition for his work, but justice for his sons. I highly recommend you watching this episode on either YouTube or Spotify as we discuss the secret codes within The Matrix and the visual elements that carry deeper meanings, something you need to see to fully grasp. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, review, and share this episode to help keep our ohana growing. If you want to support the show and access exclusive content, please head over to my Patreon. You can also visit sensiblehippie.com to find more blog posts and similar content. So be sure to check out the links below for products I recommend. Your support helps keep this show going. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Tom to the show. The views and opinions expressed by my guests do not necessarily reflect my own or those of the Sensible Hippie podcast. Any product or services mentioned are personal recommendations and do not imply an official endorsement by the show. Well, aloha, Tom. I want to welcome you to the show. But before we dive in the whole Matrix controversy, I'd love to know a little bit about your background. I understand that you spent some time here in Maui, but I also want to know what inspired you to write The Immortals, and if you can give us what the story of Immortal is about.
Absolutely. Really, it contains the aloha spirit. It's like since I was little, like I was 5 years old, I was drawing outrigger canoes, and I never seen outrigger canoes. And it was like this whole draw. Like I was like, why am I in Pennsylvania? It's freezing here. I don't want to be in Pennsylvania. I want to be in the tropics. Loved palm trees, that kind of thing. So I was always kind of out of place. And when I heard the tales about royalty going to England and how it was so different and catching colds, things like that, I was like, yeah, I understand that. But that stayed with me through my childhood all the way up. And I thought, why can't we all just get along? Why can't we all help each other in this life? It's like, shouldn't we look at each other as a gift to associate with? Wouldn't it be worse if there was no one to talk to? So yeah, so that whole thing transcended in me at an early age. And when I finally wrote it was when I saw the political turmoil that the cabal was involved in and realized there was a cabal. When they invite you to join them and offer you a chair, as they say, right, and say you're going to be one of the elite, as their language says, then you're in a predicament where you either take the red pill, which they're offering or demanding you take, or you and your family will suffer. So I didn't like the parameters on what I was being told when I was at Pat Robertson's organization. I was going to grad school, is when it really kicks off. And they told me that I would be one of the elite, that same speech, and that I would be the face of the Christian coalition. Didn't sound too bad, but the face means that I would, dimples, blue eyes, all that stuff be used to sway people like a puppet for Pat Robertson and the Cabal's goals, agendas. So what happened was I lost everything. I didn't answer their questions right. Got involved where I was invited on a trip to DC. I'm just nutshell this for you. And on that trip to DC, this associate dean, Dr. Harry Silva, with Robertson's group, started telling me all about the organization, what's really going on. And the glue that kind of held it together for Robertson to keep it interesting, like the architect needs interest, stimulation, was a sex ring. Did you know? So I was being thrown into the sex ring. That's the red pill. And when I wrote about the red pill, blue pill in the original work with the copyright too, the blue pill comes later, and that's your way back into trying to make a difference for the kids and everyone. The red pill is what you're offered alone, and that's the elite. The cabal offers only the red pill, and that's based off the blood of the children. So I whispered through art about that. Now, look what they did with that. They got the work and they switched it. Now everyone says they're red pilled pretty much, don't they? Right. Well,
Yep.
then involuntarily, everyone's saying, I support ingesting the blood of the children for a longevity program. They go, isn't that something? And you can tell people that, and they'll still say because of habit and indoctrination, red pill, that's something. But really, the events that happened with the sex ring, and I lost everything because I wouldn't comply, right? They divvy you up, like which boy goes with who. I was to be Pat Robertson's boy. If you saw what I looked like back then when I was writing it, I looked like I'm 12 years old, like very pretty boy, very pretty boy. So, that's also why I was being proven to be the face of Christian coalition. They use the sex ring to keep you loyal. So you get high positions, if you are then engaged in that sex ring, one of the elite's boys, if you will. That's why if you look at what happened to Jerry Falwell Jr., he spins a myth about, well, I watched my wife with this pool boy. No. The pool boy's brought in to be Jerry Falwell's boy. They're having relations. He's not going to watch his wife. And that's the same thing that happened to me with Dr. Harris. So you lose everything. These perpetrators get away with everything. They're actually promoted. You're destroyed. Victims, they don't take a chance on victims. They ruin your life because they don't want to have to look over their shoulder. So my work was then at the same time given to Disney and to Warner Brothers and Universal Studios. And that was done through Robertson's organization. To help. That's basically where it all comes from. So the first scene that I wrote, and I'll turn it back to you. First scene I wrote was the interrogation scene, right? And that's the one because I was interrogated. I was put in an office and I was asked what happened on this trip. And when I relayed what happened with Dr. Harry Silva in his motorhome alone with him, the pen only went moving when I talked about what he shared about Robertson's organization and the dark side of it. She was trying to get me to comply with him. Then the pen stopped moving when I talked about the sexual exploits. So they were only interested in what information did I know. I was promised I could keep my jobs, education, only needed orals and comps for my master's, right? Just huge, worked hard for that. Everything was denied, everything was taken away. A letter given to me. The letter to me says that I should now question an elder, that I did wrong by suspecting him. And the letter to Dr. Harry Silva said you were wrong being a repeat offender. You shouldn't have done this, homosexuality, drinking the beers, all that stuff. You should not have done all this, taking a load of motorhome, all against policy. But he still got promoted. So that's where the interrogation scene comes from, if you will. First scene they shot, first scene I wrote, first scene with the first graphics, which that's mind blowing what they actually put in the first graphic. So, yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot.
So when did you start noticing the similarities between the Matrix and your script, The Immortals? What was
Well,
your reaction at the
great question.
time?
I was on tour in 1999, international Shakespeare tours. And keep in mind that the policy that Cabal has, Robertson, the agencies, is to take every job you have, divide family members like the ancient Roman Empire did. They would divide tribes right against each other, divide and conquer that way. Well, they use that along with the art of war. Cabal does. So every job you get is taken. Every job they approach them with information meetings and take it away. So I realized when I was on this tour before they were approached saying, don't use him and rewards were given. 2 years on tour. I saw in 1999 they went to see The Matrix. I went into the theater, but I could not stomach the violence scenes because even though I have violence in mind, it's okay for me if it's part of the story to further the story with import. But if it's just there for violence sake or gratuitous violence, I actually get sick. I vomit. So I had to leave the theater. I did catch there was jacks to the neck, but I thought, in my mind, I'm going, well, that's just coincidence. Maybe that's just, I didn't realize how important that was. It wasn't until on Maui when the statute of limitations was going to run in 2009, because you have 10 years. So in 1999, it's shot. 2009, they provide their own attorneys, defense attorneys, to represent me. And they provide their own honeypot wife, who is from Mike Lang of Disney. Ex-con, had been in jail for prostitution. So it's like that joke from Game of Thrones where Tyrion Lannister is saying, my Jamie tried to, rescue this woman with me that was being raped, and I went with her and I fell in love with her, and then my dad had me watch as she had sex with every soldier and the coins were full of her. It's kind of the same thing. They provided me a prostitute. And so Aiden was born of a prostitute, and he's the most amazing kid in the world. She didn't want anything to do with him because she said he wasn't supposed to be born. He was a byproduct of her job. So that was to get close to the evidence, make sure to control which way I go. And part of that was to make sure I got with his attorney, who was her landlord on Maui, right? Like the honeypot, what you do sex for trade for landlord stuff, runs on Maui a lot. It's very sad. Well, that's what she was doing. And so she's employed by Warner Brothers, who's attorney, to marry me. And the big joke is on. She has access to all my work. She has me get a meeting with this attorney. He's representing us. Not really. He's unlicensed to practice law. So it was railroad through where if you look at my name now, they broadcast it everywhere. He lost his case. Really, with all the evidence we have, including what they stuck in the first graphic, all the stuff they stuck in, we couldn't lose our case unless you have attorneys planted, classmates with their attorney, running the clock out with a suspended license, and your case is thrown. So that's what they did. So we haven't had our day in court yet. And that's what's so frustrating. Yeah, isn't that something? But you'll see it all over there that, we lost.
Yeah.
We were railroaded with the biggest fraud in history. And then they all announced their different takes on the work as soon as they had all my information through this attorney, my scripts, my drafts. They admitted they had no working drafts at all. So it's a totally upside down case ruling with prejudice. It's incredible. But anyway, yeah, well, back to you again, because I know I'm dominating here, but go ahead.
No, but people want to hear you speak. And so 2009, that's when you found out that this Matrix was actually your work.
Right. The honeypot wife pulled me aside and said, look at this website. Look at this website. She shows me two. Now, of course, I'm clueless to what's going on yet. She's been very sweet to me, very nice to me, and Aiden to this point, right? She met me in 2005 when, same time that Warner Brothers provided their own top director, Terry Berliner, who did Lion King for Disney on Broadway. What's the other one? Beauty and the Beast. So she was way up there, and she courted me right away, or she showed up with her assistant to a reading of my play, The Greenlighted for Off Broadway. And so she's like, I want to have a contract exclusively with you for 3 years, which is when the honeypot wife's coming in. So it's like all being handled together, and she's being housed at that attorney's estate. That was going to throw my case on, defense attorney. So you see how it's all together, all in the same pot. So she even put a word into the New York Journals saying, this is the upcoming playwright. I was flattered. But the thing is, I was being handled. So Disney's got me totally under control. Warner Brothers is doing their thing with their own attorneys. And I'm being set up for 2009. And back to your question, which is a great question. I'm shown the little girl at the train station. That's huge. That's a pivotal thing in my screenplay. Very unique. And I'm shown the little girl pointing at the sun. Huge. That's my ending. Because I wanted to reunite with my daughter. I was taken at that age. So I'm writing to read a piece to reunite my family. Right. And to mock that, they picked those two scenes. I didn't think until now, but they picked those two scenes, I think, for that very purpose, to have that effect where it's very personal, seeing the little girl representing my daughter. And I was like, and she goes, that looks like your work, babe. I'm like, yeah, it does. Right away. Now, why did they want me to see that? Why did they want me to see it at statute of limitations? To run the clock out so they could claim I lost it to the world. See, it's a shaming thing. It's also you take your work and steal again. It's like the courts become a second theft. You have this kind of fraud. Makes sense? Access to all your money.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how deep
So
it goes.
this cabal, they really run Hollywood or the world,
Yeah.
is it?
Yes, I had a gentleman call me because I'm considered, when I was groomed to be the face of the Christian Coalition, it's a great question you just asked. So I'm going to give it the layers of it real quick. I'll try. Is that there's many facets to the cabal. I mean, I could name some of the organizations that are all part of it. It's really your billionaires club, basically. Brandy and cigars all around. It includes women and men. And it's like the Italian mafia, Jewish mafia, Mossad. You got uh, Hollywood moguls, movie moguls. You've got this three-letter agencies. You got the Bank of England. You got the royalty. You got that. This is all explained to me by a gentleman who called me and offered for me to come home. Right, but come home. If you're groomed to lead in the elite, it's like the Fight Club. You never leave the Fight Club. If you're groomed, you're inside. It's almost like a no-touch rule. You can't be killed. Your sons can be killed. Your jobs can be taken. You can be destitute, but you're supposed to be breathing because you're an example to the rest of the leaders of the rest of the cabal. See,
Because you turned them down.
right? It's like being nailed to a post or a cross. So yeah, because then you have to be punished. Now it flips the other way too for you. What happens is if you are assigned a target, they call them targets. If you're assigned a target and you fail to do your function that you were given and rewarded for, now you're going to pay the price within the cabal, even though you're in the cabal. See, it's not a cohesive, congruent animal. It's not something where they love each other and it's all roses and hugs. Really, there's a lot of infighting within the cabal. It is a fight club. And you'll see different factions play and broker for different people, different elite. So in our country, we are looked at a young age as having certain aptitudes, abilities. And if you're an all-star, basically, they even said this to me. They had another honeypot replacement wife say to me, you're their golden goose, you're their star player on the bench. They rate you on your different abilities and layers of ability. And therefore, you become an asset of the state. You become an asset of the cabal. Make sense? And so any property you have belong to them because you're an asset. So the assets are theirs. So that's how the Pentagon views it. So I know everything. And what's weird is they played this, they called a chess game with me. Disney actually called it a chess game where they took my two sons' lives and then left my last son. They said that Aiden's life he's alive because they know that I'm concerned for his safety. And that's supposed to keep me from talking like on your show. But what's happened is it's flipped because I did not show fear. And in the screenplay, the agents actually say no fear, no fear. Right? If you don't show fear, Cabal admires that. Well, all sides do. Yeah. And so if you survive their minion squad, which is another facet of this, which is what they do is they employ failed people, D players, they call them. You have your A players, just like A-list actors, and you got your D players. Now, the agents, like in the CIA and stuff, are A agents, A actors. They're smart, intelligent. Often we see eye to eye. They'll contact me and say, "We're fans of your work, Tom. We're just doing our job." And they'll actually kind of do that apologetic kind of approach sometimes. But the D players are the ones that are not part of the agencies, but claim they are because they're brought in by like the FBI or something. And I'll get these emails and messages I still have where they go, I was contacted last night by the FBI. They came to my house for Saturday for 3 hours and they want me to work with them. And then they start going after you, trying to cut your base and contact other hosts. You might get a call sometime soon saying, don't use Tom, he's a fraud. That's their job. That's the D players. They're not smart. They can't make it on their own auspices or bootstraps in the industry. So they are wannabes that then are brought in to do a job. Isn't that crazy? They get their fame through theft and harming for the agency. So the agencies don't get their hands dirty. It's all sensible. It all makes sense. But you hear so much noise today on the airwaves, don't you? So many things are being passed around that's just blowing my mind. It's almost like cats are being used with two brains. It's just like, where are you guys coming up with this? If you're groomed on the inside, we know it. It's very simple. It fits a textbook and sounds like a textbook. It's logical. It's not this overblown thing. And that's another thing done by the cabal and the agency is to make the general public look silly by embracing all these things they throw out, like the pancake theory. Right? They joke about that in the past. So what you have is they're trying to prove the general public's not smart. And the general public has been biting the bait for a long time. But at a grassroots level, you got some really smart, brilliant people. And I met a ton on Maui. They're really awake. Just I think it's the aloha spirit and just the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of it, and a valuing of each other, uncle, auntie. We're all uncle, aunties to the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and a valuing of the traditions and the things that matter and valuing life. I think that really is it that causes people to have such a despair, a gap between the general population and the awareness of those on Maui. I don't think it's any accident Maui got hit because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just too much beautiful energy and awareness. And when
Yeah.
I was adopted in by like elders on Maui, when Kaylee and Rochelle picked me up at the airport with Fred, I was just like, wow, what an honor. I've dreamt this since I was tiny. Suddenly I was seeing outrigger canoes for real. It's like really cool. So they recognized something in me that I felt honored they saw. But anyway, back to you, Lance. I hope I answered your
Wow.
question.
Yeah. So you said they as in the cabal took your kids?
They killed them. And what they do is if you have daughters and sons, right? The cabal's method, if you're a top level, like I have a card from the FBI that says, please extend every courtesy to Tom Althouse, Sheriff's Department from the FBI, given to me by John Walsh and FBI heads at dinner when I did America's Most Wanted season premiere, when I was with Robertson's group. So they all are coming at you. It's like if you're popularized within the cabal, where you're considered like, oh my God, he can write, he acts as a award-winning, performer, and he's got so much analytical, really good with science, math, and he's come up with these inventions. Now different facets want you, and you become basically a conduit or a beacon for them to grab in the pot. Like think of a slave auction. They're bidding for you. That shows their faces. They're coming forward, and you get wined and dined by the different ones. John Walsh and the FBI at dinner, part of the cabal.
Really? You would never think that.
I thought I was helping the world by doing the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you producing the show then, or what was your part in that show?
I was brought in to be a lead at the season premiere. They gave me this thing. It was even really, I wasn't even given an audition. They just said, we want you to have this. The FBI was interested to throw you a gift. And a lot of times the gift process that you'll see, if anybody's out there that's wondering if they've been approached, a lot of times you'll be invited to dinners, right? Function dinners, convention dinners. And at the dinner, you'll be taken around. Remember Jerry Maguire, where Tillman or whatever, it's Tidman or whatever, is taken by Jerry Maguire through the lobby. And he meets so and so. Here's the up and coming guy. Here's the up and coming. He's meeting his agent. And he walks through the lobby and says, that was great. Let's go do it again. That's what you're going to notice. See, they're going to walk you. It doesn't cost anything to take you around a dinner of top people and elite people in the cabal, and introduce you to everybody. That means take a note. They're going to rise. Take a note. We're lifting them up. Take a note. We're lifting her up. And that's your reward. That's a no cost reward, right? Except for the dinner. And that's what I mean when Terry Blinner came to me, Lion King, Beauty and Beast director, Disney, when she's calling the New York Journal saying this is the upcoming playwright, does a 14-page spread, and she's including me in it. That's like walking me like Jerry Maguire through the lobby. See, you're being introduced to Cabal as up and coming Cabal guy or Cabal girl. What's really interesting though is my sister went through the same process when she did the D player route. I was the A player, she was the D player to bring me down. She said she's never going to stop. Now she said she's all about success and power. I lost my sister, but I always protected. Yeah, she
Oh,
went.
you're kidding.
No,
So
she's
you did lose everything. Your
everything.
kids?
Lost everything. Yeah, everything. I have no family. I got my mom and my son. That's all I have. But Roseanne Barr's stepping in now, and she wants to be on Tucker. She wants to do Roseanne Barr Part 2 with me, and I
Oh,
do the.
wow.
Yeah, I went down to the Unity tour. Now it's amazing after all these decades of just hell and being rejected and targeted and put down by deep players always coming at me. They're still trying. Now I'm being met with this love. It's like being back on Maui, and it's like pictures want to be taken with me, and people want to. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, yeah, you're famous now. I'm like, am I really?
Now you're scared though. You don't trust anybody, I'm sure.
Very hard. So what I
Yeah.
do is I like if somebody says, "Oh, you're gonna be famous now," things like I'm like, okay, what I feel is more
Hmm.
responsibility that I have more power to do something about what's happening to the kids, what's happening to the ladies, what's happening to people, and families. So, but yeah, go ahead, take it.
Yeah. So sorry, you said your two kids, your two boys was taken, but
Two
you also had
boys.
a daughter.
Yeah, she was taken in and she was reprogrammed. Basically, what they do is here's the logical meaning of reprogramming. Sit you down with what they call social workers. Keep drilling into her. Your dad is bad. Your dad was evil. Your dad doesn't care about you after she's been kidnapped away. Then she starts to believe it, right? The reason my son Kirk was killed, one of the reasons, was he started to remember what was going on. Well, actually, he always knew. He confessed to me, he was like 26 years old when he came to me on Maui, right? I hadn't seen him since he was 6. I couldn't see him. He was taken away from me. And he came and said he wasn't allowed to see me, that the social workers with Robertson's group, he wanted to tell me. He said, Dad, they terrorists turned right away. The daughter turned right away, which shocked me because I had been like a house dad besides performing everything else and was so close to her and the boys. Then he said Sean got so confused, my eldest, that he didn't know what to do. They said, okay, we're gonna let him go. Then they said to Kirk, we're not going to stop these sessions. Do you agree your dad is? And they had a shopping list of narcissist, which you'll hear the D player saying, liar. You hear him saying that, deluded, kind of schizophrenic, bipolar, everything. Just a shopping list of, if I was any of those, I wouldn't even be able to speak words on your show right now. I'd be wearing my clothes backwards, not groomed at all. Right. But that's what's going on is, if you ever heard of schizophrenic type. So what's going on is like they pummeled them with this. Since Kirk said he pretended to, when he told me on Maui, he was murdered afterwards. When Sean came to me after a hit and run done by Joel Silver on Canada, the SUV came right at me on the bike. Missed. Actually, it clipped me when I fell off. I went backwards like rocking a horseback and survived. Very scraped up. Sean got on the phone next day from Pennsylvania with me and Aiden, Canada. And he said, Dad, please be safe on the highways. He says, I'm remembering what happened. It's coming to me. I want to work with Aiden to do your story. I want to have this come out. He was killed the next day. X-Files death by the police working with the FBI.
Are they listening to your conversations?
Every
What
time
is,
they even hear this one right now. Now, what's interesting though, is I've got agents that say they're fans of the work. Remember, fans of the work, we're rooting for you. The agencies are divided. So right now, it's like I'm trying to send a message, like that responsibility thing I was talking about. I'm trying to use this dichotomy here, this kind of interesting juxtaposed position, to use whatever clout I have to kind of influence or urge agencies, Disney's, to do the right thing. Don't make it just about power. Don't make it just about power. Make it about compassion. Your work's going to be better. You don't have to hide anything. You can be celebrated, and rightly so. Your legacies, if you're so concerned about being immortal, as they say in all the movies, and being remembered with your journals, and memoirs, as they always want to do, as if everybody wants to read their memoirs. It's like, then just do the right thing. Do it right. And that's where this is what's so funny is I'm my own character. I modeled the Neo character after myself, right? So you have to flesh it out. If you're going to write a good piece, you have to understand how the character's going to act in different situations. So write it after yourself. It's not an ego thing. It's a workable thing. You make it workable and it works. Yeah. So that's what's funny is my own character. They said they put me on my own movie now. And so that's really my turf, first of all. If they put you in my own movie, they groom me to lead, which means I'm not supposed to be killed. I'm supposed to suffer, be an example. But if I'm rising up now, Roseanne says she's with me for life. And if I get on the Tucker show now and I'm on your show and I just did Michael Yago and all these other ones, these events, I'm supposed to go to another event. I think they failed. So maybe compassion can win and maybe they can take a note from Maui that the society on Maui actually is a very congruent one. It makes sense that your kids aren't afraid to hug uncle and auntie, that they're not programmed in thinking that everyone's out to get them, that there is a neighborhood community that's extended family, and it's rooted deeply in tradition and heart. That's my home. I was told my heart would leap when I was at the right place, and my heart leapt, and I was embraced so well. But yeah, I wrote my own character, and now I'm suffering. My own character suffered. But the funny thing is, or not funny, how can you humor this? Is that my story would win in the end. And what's interesting is it's a woman that saves my skin, my character. It's a woman that was programmed and broke free of her programming. So isn't that something? So let's see what happens if they're so into art imitating life. I'm sorry, life imitating art, and they say they're so drunk on our story and they're trying to use up the story. Well, then I'm looking forward to the woman that comes through in the end. I'm looking forward to that because my character doesn't succeed. He does everything possible, and it's the woman that comes through. And that scene, by the way, I'm going to show you something really quick. I know I'm talking a lot here, but I'm happy to share. I want to share something about the agents and everything, how they flipped. These pages right here, these beautiful, beautiful pages, are the missing script pages that were taken 3 decades ago and returned to my home in my bedroom. I got back from Tampa, the Unity tour, where I was considered successful. Somebody broke into my house and restored these missing pages, which actually has neuro in it, by tech, preceding Matrix and preceding Elon Musk getting it. So what is that called when someone breaks into your house to return things? You don't even know the word for that.
No.
It's like, what is that? So, but that's
That
happened.
that must have been crazy waking up and seeing something on your bedside that
Well,
wasn't ever there.
I got back on a flight from the Unity tour, got the shuttle back to my car like 1 a.m, get home, and it's in my bedroom.
Wow.
Something. Which also gives the chilling thought, yeah, they could have gotten to me anytime they wanted.
Absolutely.
Turning a script, they could have left a body.
You're right. They could have. And if there's the cabal, I guess they can do anything they want. They could probably get away with anything they want too.
That's right. So that's why I use the approach too of trying to get them to realize that compassion is the real power. That compassion leads to great creativity. And if you want your artists to do great work, you want to be stimulated in your minds, let your artists have compassion. Don't tell them they can't have it. Don't tell them we have to be like them. Let us be who we are. And let's have a society like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell them.
Like
So I'm
Maui.
alive, I think, because of my compassion. I think my sister's in greater danger, not from me, although she's supposed to say it's me. It's like all these crazy things like he waves a gun around. I don't have a gun. I don't. Wait, what's waving a gun around me? It's like, that's pretty stupid. No, I'm trying to get away from her. But her job is to say that. But the thing is, she doesn't have compassion now. She's all about success and power now, which means she's a liability to the cabal. She's a liability. So brought in to bring me down. She failed. That if we make you, we can break you. So, and she just won't shake this greed. So it's like she's putting herself in danger. She would blame me, but it's not me.
Is she a powerhouse in Hollywood or anything?
Remember the dinner thing I told you about? Dinners?
Yeah.
Was taken all around the dinner by Brian Fitzpatrick. Now, if we look up Brian Fitzpatrick, it's a very important name to remember. He's like the Pee Wee Herman of congressmen. Looks like Pee Wee Herman. The guy is from Pennsylvania, but was an FBI operative in Hollywood, agent that disrupted Ukraine for the Biden administration. He's the one that was sent there and did this article in our Daily Intelligencer, which is the local paper for Philadelphia, where I was born. He put an article in there saying, yeah, we went there to get rid of Victor Shokum, and the entire law enforcement apparatus said he had to go. And so I went over with Donald Baxter from Trudeau's administration in Canada, and he's spilling it all. He's spilling it all because he wants to cover up. He's trying to shut me away for life using my sister. And so my sister gets on the floor of Congress. There's a picture of her on the floor of Congress with a red dress and the red shoes with Brian Fitzpatrick talking about her after a 302 attempt on me, which is put you away for life, claiming you are dangerous to society. Isn't that something? And she's bragging that even better awards are coming. She says she's going to run for office, like president. It's like no, Julie, you're not. You're not. You're falling for it. And what she doesn't realize, she should realize, you see the power clouds your mind. If you're compassionate, you have a clear mind, right? Clear heart. You don't have anything cluttering there. All the wants and desires and needs, and I desire and I'm entitled. No. So what happens is, it's like the clear vision shows that if you're working for a better world and you devote yourself to that and you put that into your heart with no regrets, no bad thoughts inputted into their mind, like I'm not putting anything where I want harm on anyone or anything else, your mind will function beautifully because you're not lying to yourself. If you try to perpetuate a lie and protect that lie, your mind knows you're lying and it's not going to be able to create. So it's like, you can't, because your mind's going to be stuck on trying to solve the problem you're putting in, but your mind knows you're lying to it. The mind only works well when it's logical and honest. And so honesty is the way to great creativity.
Yeah. I think I heard you on another podcast talking about these I don't even know if they were hidden. Things that was in the movies that were your birth dates, times, and the numbers meant certain things like death, or I don't remember. Could you
I can show
explain
you.
some of that?
That's what
Yeah.
we can go to that one. Let me call it up real quick and see if we can share a screen. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because it's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing that we go this far to do this. Can I share screen with you?
Yes, I
Very
should have it on share screen.
I may have it already enabled. Let me go to it here. Okay, so I'm going to say screen share entire screen. I'm going to pull this thing aside though when I do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll look like you're looking down a tunnel. See it okay?
Double click. Yep, I see something. Yep.
You see this right here? Watch.
Yeah. It's small, but I see it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show you first of all this right here. Look at this graphic right here. I'll expand it a bit. So glad you brought this up because this is something they cannot deny. They're trying.
Right.
They even tried with fraud on the courts to deny this. So anyway, this is what you're going to see in the folder. I'm going to flash the scene for you, okay?
Okay.
And you're going to see this flash by. Watch how fast it goes by. See how it looks like it's got a page blurred at the bottom there, like it's turning?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's because that's how fast it is to capture this. And this is back with VHS, where it's like impossible to capture a shot, basically. Some would debate that, but it is pretty hard. Okay, so here we go. Let's get a clear, crisp image. Let's call this up. Okay, here we go. Open. Okay. Watch how fast it goes by. So this is the first scene I wrote, first scene they shot, and boy, did they mess it up. They messed up everything we had. They really did. They made it very juvenile the way they rendered everything. It's sad. It's frustrating. Maybe that was part of the deal that made me frustrated. Okay, watch how fast. First scene ever done. You're also going to notice there's no room ambience. If you're in the film industry, you always have that moment where the scene's taken. It's good. Okay, hold on, everybody. We're going to get the room ambience. And they do footage of just sound rolling. For new people, it's like, what are we doing? We're just rolling. What's going on? They're capturing the natural essence of the room, the sounds in the room. You have to have that. They didn't do that here. They didn't do that here. They strictly shot this first scene only to flash the author's information. Isn't that something?
So if your information is on that paper?
Yes. So watch what's on there. Wait till
okay.
See. Brought it up. Wait till you see. This is irrefutable. It's really, that's why we should never have lost. Except supplying the attorneys they were classmates, defense attorneys, suspended license. Okay. So no room ambience. Now watch Neo. Watch Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves, first scene he's going to shoot, he's given no direction. Now, I, as a performer, award-winning performer, know when people don't have direction. It's like they call it the actor's nightmare, where you don't know what you're supposed to do. So if you don't know what to do, you improvise. Unless you're Keanu Reeves and you don't know what to do, then you panic. So Keanu Reeves is going to be like, look around. I don't know what to do. Watch what happens. So no room ambience shot. First scene shot just for this to flash this, right? All this is for. And Keanu Reeves lost in the water. Here we go. Gone. Gone. Keanu's like, what the hell do I do? I'll look around. That's something. Watch it one more time. Watch how fast it goes by. And I'll put it back there. Okay, ready? Watch how fast it flips. Everything gone.
Yep.
And it's upside down even. Gone. Okay. Poor Keanu. He's like, am I being paid for this? Anyway, so yeah. So let's go back to the actual, do you see what I mean? So let's go back to what's there. So I turned it right side up. Now, Susanna Bolgen, the graphic designer for The Matrix, did an article where she said anything in the, here it is right here. She said anything in, it's very small print, but I'll just let you know what it says, but it shows you she had the article. So in it, she's saying anything in for a split second is for the director's eyes only to keep the project interesting, right? And so what happens, and there's a clearance department. Wait, let me show you this real quick. We'll see if we can catch this actually. Let me see it blow it up. Okay. Can you see where it says the clearance department? Up at the top there, Suzanne. It says Suzanne, upper right, clearance department. You catch that?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
It's small, but I can kind of catch it.
Okay. Who's responsible for names and artwork and references all get cleared before we're allowed to actually get them printed? They all have to be cleared. So this information on me you're going to see had to be cleared by the clearance department. So they call stacking. They stack things in order to get it through. And they put in gag jokes, all right? And so isn't that something? So they say like they change names, they change numbers. And Owen, the art director, Owen Patterson, it says down at the bottom, is the one that makes up the name and with the directors. So, in jokes and everything. So let's get rid of that and see what they did. With that information, you're following that. Here's the page frozen, right? And see how that page is still blurring at the bottom. So it's like, that's how fast that's going by. Remember, Susanna Bolgen said anything for a split second. Let's take a look what's there, breakdown, on the breakdown.
I see your name, I think. Is that your name on there?
My name, yep. Now watch this. Okay. Now it's going to get really bizarre. Okay, same thing, but this one's right side up. Let me turn it upside down. I can't. Okay. Wait, where's the? Yes, I can. Hold on. Okay. There you go. See, now I'm going to show you this is the same thing. Watch. See it?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, right?
Yep.
Okay. Nothing up my sleeve. Here we go. Let's get so important. You have to have a suspended license attorney to throw your case with everything they did, to have it in a honeypot there. Because they say it's worth 1.2 billion and growing. Okay, so first of all, as you pointed out, the name above Neo's name is Thomas A, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thomas A. Anderson. Why Anderson? All right, now we're from the McAllister clan, Scottish clan, kind of thing, which we're, on the southern part, which I would be if it's born in Scotland. But Thomas A, obviously my name, right, for starters. And Anderson, reason they put Anderson really is there, that I know now, is because the gentleman, the pastor, that, remember I told you about Harry Sova, who went to Jerry Falwell's place, who approached me on that trip, sex ring?
Mm-hmm.
He told me about a pastor, David Anderson, who stepped forward and confessed of having sex with Pat Robertson himself and the head of his grad school president. He confessed to the congregation. So they put Thomas A. and Anderson together. Isn't that something? Because my life was destroyed when the Anderson information came. So they put my Thomas A. Anderson to rub it in. Isn't that amazing? David Anderson. Thomas A. Stick it together. Okay. Oti Cabal, my fiance there on the corner, who was at the pitch session with me, right? Disney took her away. Her birthday is March 11th. Neo's birthday is March 11th. So let's put the fiance birthday that was at the pitch session there, and your name, and the guy's name that came forward and confessed to his congregation that you were destroyed over. July 22nd on top. So my birthday didn't make Neo's. They wanted to have Otika's birthday there. Senator David Boren's niece, senior senator Democrat, who came to me, went out with me, got engaged. So why did her birthday become Neo's? Because she's the pivotal moment. When Disney got her away, I was broken. That's when they gave the work to the Wachowskis in 1996. My heart was destroyed. I'm one of those hopeless romantics, and I fell apart.
Oh.
So they attribute to her the birthday for Neo because they applaud her for doing this. July 22nd, above it, my birthday gets bumped up and changed. What's really wild is USAA Insurance, right? My dad was in the military. USAA Insurance has assault in records that my birthday was July 22nd. It was switched from July 2nd. So my birthday got switched when they took my work. That shows you the cabal, the different facets of the cabal, right? So what happened was Social Security number disappeared, my records disappeared, and they switched my birthday to July 22nd, and it ends up in here at the same time. 1996 to 99 is when she leaves. They strike my records if I'm being erased, and in goes this on the banner, which was my birthday at the time, according to USA records they saw. Is something? Now, in 2003, my records were restored to my actual birthday, July 2nd. You'll see where that ends up. Okay, so we got my name, Anderson. We've got Otika's birthday, my birthday as it's changed to. Now look at John A. in the middle, very middle, there's the blue box in the dead center. John A., Neo's dad. John A. is my dad's name. Tom Althouse, John A. That's not all. The schools. We got Owen Patterson High. Well, there's Owen Patterson, the art director. The joke is, the inside joke is we'll name the high school after you, Owen Patterson. He's the one that's working the graphics with the Wachowskis. So he puts his own name as the high school. There's the joke. Now, to get through the clearance department, they put my high school as a junior high. So Central West Junior High. Here's my diploma on the side, Central West High School. See? What's the mathematical probability or chances of having your high school, your dad's name, fiance's birthday, your birthday, as it's altered, your name, marital status, all in the first graphic of the shot.
That's weird. They like to shove it in your face, don't they?
They do. And Michelle McGahee is listed as the mom, the art director. Now, here's the real kicker. In their only testimony we received to cover their butts because of this graphic, the Wachowskis put in a sworn statement that even though they said in Smoking Gun, it was revealed, they said that every cell that goes into the Matrix, every cell that went into the work, every cell, every name, every date, every number was by them only equally between Larry and Andy. But they switch up here. Then they swear that, Owen Patterson and Michelle McGahee put Tom Althouse's stuff in. We only picked Thomas A. They're not denying it. They're admitting it and blaming these two. Well, that's a weak character. Those are weak characters that blame their number twos right away, for the work. Now, what's interesting is, see the column TA 4099?
Mm-hmm.
TA 40. TA was 4099. So when it came out, so they're putting down age, and because I had said at the pitch session to Bonaventura, the exec who had me pitch it all and had the script, I said, he asked me my age, and I said, well, I never give it out because I do performances at a high level and I get paid for this. And you don't want to give your age in the industry because you need an age range so directors don't get fixated on your age. But if they have an age range, you get more work. So Larry's going to rub it in. Larry's going to put it there. See, he thought that would hurt me. So he's going to do that too. Now, 380 is what you alluded to, or you brought up, which is very important. The Wachowskis claim they're into numerology, but they don't know what numerology really is. They just say this. They actually handed out philosophical books on set and said it's required reading, but they didn't understand the work. One writer actually said, yeah, they passed out my book, but they're not quoting it properly. They're not saying what it means. They got it backwards. So anyway, 380 in numerology means, basically, what I'm told, is to take your most cherished worldly possessions to help you prepare for your death. Now, I take that as a loved one going, I will look after these for you. Well, they're doing a joke on that, spinning, going like, we're going to steal your most cherished possessions, which is your intellectual property, and kill your kids. Agencies will, and help you prepare for your death. The joke is right there. They can't be more sinister or more low than that, right? So there it goes. Now, what did they do in 2003? 2003, you see this clock filling the screen. Shot, right? I think I have a better graphic of it. Let's see. Right here. Okay. So this is from the Animatrix. And keep in mind, the Animatrix was shot the same time as Matrix 1 and 2, right? Right. So why was it shot? Why'd they do it? Why'd they do shorts of all these different pieces with directors they were fans of, right? Brought in Japanese directors. The answer is because they were stealing everything, reverse engineering. They stole everything by taking this screenplay, fully copyrighted everything like that. Oh, I'll hold it there. They take that in one hand. The fight choreographer told me this, the main fight choreographer. They have this in one hand, and they have the visual storyboard, all lifted images from this in the other. They make up as they go along, right? So they didn't get to make up, they didn't get to include everything. So they did shorts in Animatrix to use the rest of the graph, the rest of the images lifted they thought were cool, and claim those too. That's why you have all these shorts to claim each image they think is cool. So the shorts don't really make much sense, but it's each one's claiming another image, like such as the guys falling from the sky and landing just before the ground, and they have it where the kids fall from just landed before the ground and nosebleed. They're taking everything they can. So in Animatrix, you have a detective story. And in the detective story, you have this clock shown. And that clock is my exact birthday in Agent Red. So my birthday is July 7. 7 is July. 2 is, so 7/2/59. 1 before the 60. So the black hands point exactly to 7/2/59. My exact birthday. In the industry, it's supposed to be 10 after 10. Even clocks in stores at Walmart and such still have 10 or 10. It's called the smiling hands. And that was to protect from copyright infringement, where people won't say, that's my birthday in the movie. You took my work. So they put my exact birthday. Now the red hand is 4 past the 4. Mine was 44 in 2003 when they did it. So 44 is red. Why the red hand? Red means a red 4 and 2 4s, in this case 4 and 4, 4 past the 4 means you will be terminated. And that's their wish. That's a request to the Cabal to eliminate Tom Althouse. So yeah, now that's not all. Here's my license. See 7259? Can't be denied. And then they did this. This is insane. It's the best one to hide in the detective story. And what's interesting is the words you hear basically are something like this. You will look for it, you won't find it. They're just playing with this.
Oh my God.
And so watch what you can see what's happening here. Now, what's first of all you'll see here is the antique shop is turned into an antique house. My last name's Althouse. So it's not antique shop anymore, it's antique house. And watch how they do this. Now, first of all, an antique shop, or antique, I never heard an antique house, but antique shop filled with antiques, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why is it all clocks?
You're right.
Everything's a clock, unless Captain Hook shops here, and it's a preferred customer. So let's look at what actually is here.
It's the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, 7-2s. And backwards 7-2s and 59. See how that one, the one with the blue circle on the right has a 59 and a 2 backwards, 59 2s backwards. If you have a birthday backwards or segments of the birthday backwards, it means a life in distress or a life that's died, like the flag upside down, right? So what you have here is, look how these letters line up perfectly. If you lift and lower in the place, it'll be right across the page. See how they do it? Now look at the top part, very small in the back, is a blue P-A-R-K backwards and a T-O-M forwards. They took Mopar, back to the original, without them, back to this. Okay, see in the back?
Yeah.
In the back there in the center? They take Mopar backwards and extend a line across the P so it turns into a T, T-O-M. And then you turn it backwards and it becomes P-A-R-K with a ghost K, park. So that they actually spent that much time coming up with something that would do that. I'm trying to get out of this now.
Is this supposed to be like I don't know, I don't want to say magical, but something with it being written and out there, it's
You're
supposed to
good. Yes.
conjure something?
Yes. It is it's something about if you show it to the person and put it in plain sight, they've been warned, they've been told. And if they don't see it, you can proceed because they have been shown ceremoniously that what's going on. So
That's
therefore,
awful.
everybody's back to red pill, blue pill. Everybody says they're red pilled. They have been shown. So they're guilty saying red pill. They're guilty for saying we support the blood of the children being used for an immortal program. Isn't that something? Even politicians say they're red pill.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Unity Tour, I heard about 4 different people say they're red pilled, even after I spoke. It just stuck with them. But look at the L at the bottom. See the finger pointing?
Yeah.
So let's look at the devices they use to draw your attention to make sure they have passed that ceremony thing where you make it clear they've done it. So the guy's pointing to the L, the backwards L. He's pointing to it. You can't get better than that. If you're pointing to it, it's meant to be seen. Now, if you go to the T up by the glasses on the head, right? You have a Tom in the middle. Let's go back to the original again one more time. I want you to see it. This is good to go over. This is their best graphic. This is the one that was most for plausible deniability. Okay, look at the glasses. Squint a little bit at the picture. Go to the center. Looking at the center. Does that little light stand out? Reflection on his glasses? And this on the guy's head, the bald guy's head.
Oh, okay. Yes. Now I see it. Yes.
See how the T is highlighted with that bright light?
Oh my God.
That's
Yes.
all. So your brain will go to that T. So the finger's pointing to the
Now.
L. Brain's going to go to the T. The A is standing on its own, super large. And so when you line it up, you do get ALT and it lines up perfectly. Alt, house, park in the middle, Tom, in a very weird way. Look at that way they got Tom on that clock. Isn't that a weird?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, in a
I
weird
can't
way?
believe you found that.
It was pointed out to me.
Oh.
See, remember he said they're fans of the work, the agents did?
Yes.
Well, a insider at Warner Brothers story department contacted me and said he wanted to be anonymous until we succeed. So I haven't heard from him yet, but he said he pointed out these things to us. He wanted us to know. Otherwise, you're right.
Wow.
Who else in the world would find this?
Right.
So if I'm notified, Wachowskis weren't very happy. Wachowskis had to be punished. Remember we said about Fight Club, Cabal, if you do something, do like this, you have to be punished. What was the punishment for the Wachowskis for doing all this and putting all the information in so many ways? They had to pretend to be women.
Oh.
See, that's the punishment. Isn't that something? So Andy was asked on the air, he was asked, you must be really happy now that you're a woman. And his response is just classic. He goes, he just got this face of just like utter despair. He goes like, no, not really. Being punished for sticking the author's stuff in. But they covered them. They covered them. Also, there's a disagreement. Remember, the Cabal disagrees with itself. There's a disagreement on the title. The head of Warner Brothers that was in charge of this, the architect was a woman, basically, named Kate Chill. She wrote all these letters to Sophia Stewart to promise her to keep her in line to handle me. Her job was to handle me, be a first claimant, right? So Warner Brothers orchestrated that too. So she told Sophia Stewart that we don't claim the Matrix title. We're not copyrighting the Matrix title. We're copyrighting the Immortals. Now, you want to see how they did that? Okay, I'll show that with you too. Stop me if you need to. There you go. Okay, let's go to the things. Watch this. They didn't just copyright the Immortals title. They ordered and commissioned Tom Hanks to steal it. Yeah. Look at this. Can you see the Tom Hanks picture?
I do, yes.
Okay. Can you see the writing at all good enough? Let me blow it up a little bit more. Watch this. This is from the Copyright Office. Right from the Copyright Office. I actually have a filmed clip of this being searched out. So they can't say it's Photoshop. I did my homework. Okay, so we have The Immortals by Tom Hanks. He didn't write it. He's an actor. Employee for hire. Go down to Party 1. Tom Hanks, Party 1, middle of that document. Certificate of authorship. Who's giving him a certificate of authorship for my work? Party 2, HBO, Time Warner Entertainment, Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers and HBO are hiring Tom Hanks to steal The Immortals in 1998, when my screenplay is submitted, lower corner. This one's the 1998 version. So we have and this is really weird. See that little document up top? Let me just try to navigate this for you. Okay, the little document I'm going to go to right now is up in the top corner. See that one right there?
Mm-hmm.
That's submitting attorney from Norfolk, Boyd and Boyd of Norfolk, submitting in June 25th, 1993, to Story Department of Warner Brothers, 4000 Warner Brothers Lane, Burbank, California. Certified letter, return receipt, tracking number and receipt right there. Submitted script, story treatment, music, everything. Proven that it's submitted. Now, look at that date, June 25th, 1993, right? What did the silly people at Warner Brothers do when they took it? Poor Tom Hanks. He's set up so bad right now. Look at the date of execution. It says June 25th. They put the exact date of submission and changed the date to 98.
Mm-hmm.
I said 93, but look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. They're desperate to be clever. They never thought I'd see it because I was supposed to be dead, right? And that's what I get now. Big accusation was being thrown around by the D players. You know, why is Tom still alive? He must be a fraud or working for the other side. He's still alive. No, I'm still alive because I explained that earlier. Why I'm still alive. They're trying to make my life an example to others.
Yes.
All right. So Tom Hanks, how many times does it say it? Tom Hanks, employee for hire, ordered and commissioned. Ordered and commissioned by Warner Brothers and HBO. That did Game of Thrones. So in Game of Thrones, JJ, whatever his name is, who claims he wrote the Game of Thrones, had a whole team writing it, which was Warner Brothers and HBO. He was an in-house employee. He was an employee for HBO being hired to do what Tom Hanks did, to stick all this stuff in Game of Thrones. And when you dissect that at some point, look at the Easter eggs in that, it's unreal. They ended up with a great series because they were knocking off. Isn't that incredible? It gave them fire, gave them interest. Remember that Susanna Bolgen, the graphic designer, said to keep the project interesting, they're going to stick these things in. It actually allows them to do their best work if they're mocking and they're all still. That's something.
That is crazy. It
there
is.
You got HBO, Time Warner in the bottom, and the Immortals They call it the Immortals and Immortals in case I do different variations. Now watch this on the side real quick. I hope this is kind of interesting to you. Because
It
look at
is.
this on the side. Who else is being brought in? Wendy Wasserstein. She doesn't look too happy. Wendy
No, she doesn't.
Wasserstein's being brought in too at the same time, relatively same time. So date of execution, certificate of authorship for Tom Hanks in June 25th, 98. But Wendy Wasserstein's brought in, ordered and commissioned, November 10, 98. What's going on? So who wrote what? It says HBO, Warner Brothers Entertainment, Warner Brothers is work for hire, and that Wendy Wasserstein is an employee. She's the famous Jewish playwright that wrote Heidi Chronicles on Broadway. She's a playwright, not a screenwriter. There's a difference. Wholly different style, wholly different way. You're writing for different audiences, right? So she's not a film writer, but she's being hired in case Tommy Boy has second thoughts, steal the work. And so same players, HBO, they're not very clever. Time Warner, HBO, Wendy Wasserstein hired. Again, same party 2, party 1, certificate of authorship. The Immortals created by Wendy Wasserstein as a work for hire. So wait, the Immortals is created by Wendy Wasserstein, go to the other place. The Immortals by Tom Hanks, employer for hire. So they're going to sue each other. But the thing is that she has 2 pages, he has 3 pages. Entire copyright document, 1 to 3 pages. That's a very short film when you consider a page a minute Hollywood shooting time. 3-minute long film, The Immortals. Tom Hanks, knock yourself out. That's a commercial. So yeah, isn't this something? Isn't that something? I wanted to show you. Isn't that something? But that's not all. Also, the man that wined and dined the Wachowskis when they failed at everything to be D players. Remember D players? If you fail, you can be a D player. Is on this document with assassins. You have Larry and Annie Wachowski on Assassins, and this is before Matrix. Paradise Films, which is De Laurentiis' company, De Laurentiis Corporation, with him. What's wild is after that, De Laurentiis does this. De Laurentiis has the Assassins right there in the middle left. It's very hard to see it. Go bigger. Okay, Assassins, De Laurentiis, Wachowskis. Wachowskis want to do the science project. They had an article where they failed as writers, and because they failed at Assassins, another writer had to be brought in. So they weren't given the science project originally. They had said they had pack their bags and leave unless Joel Silver could get them to be able to direct it, convince the suits to let them direct it, not write it. The Immortals. So what happens? De Laurentiis realizes they failed at Assassins, so that's in 93. So in 95, he enters a new entry, The Immortals. De Laurentiis. Paradise Films, just like on Assassins, De Laurentiis' company. He goes greedy. He goes De Laurentiis Productions, Starling Productions, and he puts an investment firm on without the Wachowskis on my title. The Wachowskis were not supposed to be able to do The Matrix. It was going to be Tom Hanks, De Laurentiis, somebody else. It was going to be Wendy Wasserstein. So what they did was later in 98, they take this copyright and give it to Tom Hanks. But the Wachowskis were screaming, whining, crying, yelling. I mean, they really were yelling. So Joel Silver lets them have it by getting with Bonaventura right there. He said they never met. Warner Bros. Attorney said they never met there. They were 93 meeting, hugging each other. They're women. And it's like Joel Silver with Bonaventura on the left. And Bonaventura allows Joel Silver to let Wachowskis take it, correct it. What services were provided? Yeah.
So that movie was actually published?
The Immortals?
Yeah.
No, they changed the letters around. So the Wachowski, remember how they had to be women because they did all the author's information in it? They couldn't wait to stab back. First graphic shot, first scene shot, slam the author, and also give a finger right up the face of Warner Brothers for having them removed as Assassins writers. Another writers brought in. So what happens is you have the Wachowskis replace the Assassins. They get a hold of Matrix. They're given the science project. They said they want to be given the science project. Joel Silver gives them a test project, an audition piece, they called it. Bound. If you direct Bound well, I'll convince the suits to give you the Immortals to take. Now, what did they do? Remember, there was all these titles on that thing I showed you with De Laurentiis, all those like 346 other titles. They're supposed to pick one of those titles. See, they have slots in the Copyright Office. Are the Wachowskis going to do that? So what do the Wachowskis do to stick it to Warner Brothers? and also to mock the author, they take the Immortals title, right? They switch the letters around, and they include Elon. So if you take one more time on share, I don't mean to hold you up, but I want to show you this.
No, you're not.
Okay, watch this. Okay, ready? Let's take my screenplay. Let's get a nice big shot of it. There's Monomatura flashing by. There's pretty far. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's pass this. Okay, can you see it's okay?
Yes.
Screenplay. Proof it was submitted. Keep in mind, Sophia Stewart's supposed to say this is a forgery. Well, there's a receipt from the Copyright Office. That's a lot of work to do. That gold seal takes a lot of work to press. I have to make a machine shop to do that. And then the PA number's right on there, so you can look it up and find the Copyright Office, Sophia. And then there's the people you can contact to give their titles. You can see to see if it's not. There's a stamp at the Library of Congress. I think she's on thin ice on this one. Anyway, the Immortals title, right? The Immortals title, let's blow it up a little more. They're so ridiculous. D players are not that smart, right? They're just not that smart. Okay, see the Immortals title? I want you to spell Matrix using only the Immortals letters. Can you spell Matrix?
Where's the title at? I don't see it. I don't know where to look. Sorry.
It's all right. It's on the screenplay on the right there in the center. See the bold letters? The Immortals, bold letters.
Why can't I see it?
Let me go bigger.
Blind. Oops.
Don't you worry. Now do you see it? Upper top, right.
Upper top,
big
right.
Black letters in the document.
Oh, yes, I see it now.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what I want you to do, here's your work. Spell Matrix using only the Immortals letters. Can you spell Matrix?
Matri. No.
What's missing?
X.
Enter Elon Musk. Every time Elon Musk goes like this, he was given the tech, well, the Wachowskis were given the word. He was a D player too. He failed with going bankrupt. And Warner Brothers, the Cabal, gave him a position to be the face and to have my tech, which the Wachowskis said they wanted to do Jackson Neck for real. So Elon didn't come up with Neuralink. I did. That's my tech. It was for the purposes of the screenplay, not to make Elon rich. Something.
Wow.
That's why in Iron Man 2, Warner Brothers does Iron Man 2 and DC Comics, whatever, or Marvel, whatever, DC, I think. And they put in the raceway scene where the whip guy's out smacking up the cars. Before that, Tony Stark tells the redhead girl he likes to go get that table in the corner. I want that table. Get it for me. But it's already owned. Get it. I want that table. Make it happen. He starts to walk away and he goes, wait a minute. There's Elon Musk. The table next to Tony Stark's table has Elon Musk. Elon Musk stands up and is just smiling. No lines, just going like that. Why is he in the film? Because he's given, remember, take him around the tables, take him around to see people?
Yeah.
Elon Musk is a D player being given the tech. And one of the things they did as a reward is put him in Iron Man 2. No lines, just show him. Not important to the story, just show him. Isn't that something? Yeah.
That is incredible. Is there some kind of significance with your name being backwards?
Yes. If your name is backwards and the flag is upside down, if your clock hands of your birthday are backwards, it means your life is destroyed. We're displaying your life is destroyed. It's a signal to all other Cabal members. He's finished. He's ruined. He's in distress.
Oh my God. That's awful. So when this person showed you this and pointed those things out, did that make you scared that they're after? No.
I was grateful. All I felt was kind of elation. I was thanking him profusely, going like, thank you so much for having the courage to contact me. He says, I look forward to celebrating you and seeing you succeed at this. When you succeed, I'll come forward.
Wow. Yeah, I hope you win too. Are you in courts now?
We have to do the court of public opinion. That's what's advised. That's why Roseanne Barr is so important, what you're doing, Michael Gecko, the rest, and Tucker and them. If by doing the court of public opinion and having it out there, that's what Disney said. I have him on tape saying that's what wins the chess game. See, then the judges aren't so apt to just do whatever they're paid to do, bribed to do, even though they're put in position. The judge that threw our case was appointed by Pat Robertson and Bush, both. Was the first appointee to the Hollywood courts. What Rankin did, the guy with the suspended license, who was classmate, defense attorney with Warner Brothers, he made sure we did Hollywood. He wasn't even a licensed to practice there. So that way he could throw the case there too.
Yeah. And I'm sure Roseanne's been through all this too. So she knows how it feels. She knows the same
right.
players. Absolutely.
That's why I promised her I wouldn't work with Disney. Said, I will not work with Disney. I promise you. On the air, I promised her.
Mm.
So you're right. She went through the same stuff.
She did. Yeah, they just destroyed everything and took everything. Was it the Cabal as well with her?
Yeah. Well, it was Disney with the Cabal. Disney's part of the Cabal,
Oh,
right? Think about how the agencies got involved in Disney, Walt Disney back when, during the
mm,
wars. Really, a lot happened during World War II. All right.
mm,
But in World War II, they used the sort of the rationalization that it was matters of national security that Hollywood had to have their films checked for that reason, national security. And so it just became that lasting relationship of they became a mouthpiece for agencies, basically. So when I write a piece that has Neo, the Neo character, as a lower echelon CIA department head, and Smith is actually upper echelon CIA department head, and that central intelligence agency becomes central, that Smith agents are part of central in the future, one world society's intelligence agency. I think you're going to want to launder this because of the baddies. The agencies that oversight all the Hollywood content is not going to want to film this going blockbuster with the agencies as the bad guys. They're just not going to not going to okay that one. Sorry, no.
when you say Cabal, are these Jesuits? Who are the
That is a
Cabals?
great question. Here's the answer I got. I had a gentleman contacting me, very affluent gentleman, contacted me, and I taped it. He probably never talked to me again. He called me twice. I taped them both because I want to have primary sources for the public in the future. I want kids in the future when they do their little papers for school to actually have primary sources, see how bad it was this time. And really, it's the greatest time to be alive. I'll say that to the future generations too. It's the greatest time to be alive if you want to make a difference. You want to make a difference? This is the time to exist right now. What a time. And I've even had NASA scientists tell me, because they'll call sometimes, these guys say they're fans of the work. I'm like, you're a NASA rocket scientist. It's like they're talking about, time travel in the future where it's possible, where you can't affect the outcome, but you can spectate. They said there's going to be tours in the future of people, you can almost sense it, like people crowding in who have those special tickets to come see life-changing moments. You almost start to feel like you can sense it, a crowd around going, okay, this is going to be important, So it has an effect. It's pretty wild. Yeah. I think it's pretty wild. Yeah. Anyway, but everything's coming together. Everything's actually coming together right now. But yeah.
So who are the Cabal? What?
The gentleman, thank you. I got off track there. The gentleman
Okay.
who contacted me said, when I asked him what his name is, I said, what can I call you? He said, you're to refer, I gotta look this up again, or maybe you'll know. He said a name, a Latin term. He said a Latin word. And he said it means friend in Latin. So a very clever response. I thought it was clever. Remember the A list are
Mm-hmm.
intelligent? The D list, I can't stomach talking to a D list player for more than 1 minute. Oh my God. It's all about them. In fact, Sophia Stewart's company is called what? What do you think Sophia Stewart's company is called? Writer, director, producer of All Eyes on Me. All Eyes on Me. I'd be embarrassed to go to the office and register that. Like, what's your company called? All Eyes on Me. Not much to look at. Anyway, so yeah. Anyways, yeah, the ego. And she said, no ego. But the Cabal, what he said was, the Cabal, let me explain it to you basically. I tape this thing. It's a great piece of tape or MP3. He said that it's not the movie moguls that have the power. I said, really? No. He said, you would think, but they're not. They're not the top at all. They're really the lackeys. The movie moguls are the lackeys. It's like that joke about the car breaking down at the airport, and the Pope was like, okay, let me drive. And that's the chauffeur getting in the back, and the gets pulled over, and he's like, one guy says, well, who did you pull over? He said, I don't know. It must be really important because the Pope's the chauffeur. But it's like, that kind of thing. But it's like that kind of feeling where it's not the movie moguls. Their egos are so big, but it's like, no, not Joel Silver and them, not Steven Spielberg, as we call him in the business. It's above them. The agencies, he's like, yes, the agencies, the mafia's involved, different factions. There's Jewish, there's Italian, there's Sicilian, that kind of stuff. He said, but really, he said, there's the Bank of England. That's getting way up there. The Bank of England. That's interesting because now people are talking about how we didn't really win the Revolutionary War, that England still had maintained influence. Well, the Bank of England's always been there. Then I can see that if they controlled our money system and even in a distant way, influencing how it goes, you still have control. And maybe that Jekyll Island meeting with the Jewish people that were, running that, maybe that was sort of Bank of England infringing, getting in there and getting their little way, maybe a little wand go in there. So yeah, that's a thought. And but he said there's a woman. So I'm not giving you her name. This blew my mind. He said there's a woman who's over everything. And right away, I'm thinking about Lord of the Rings, where they had the elven lord lady that's like, she says she tries the rings, blonde lady. She's like, would you rather in place have a woman so terrifying and beautiful? I'm like, oh, okay. But the thing is, like, that kind of image came because I was always advocating that women should rule the planet and we won't have so many wars. Roseanne up ones me there. She goes, and it's beautiful. Roseanne's idea is to have what the Iroquois Nation and Ben Franklin talked about. The Iroquois Nation had the Grandmother Council, the Council of Grandmothers. I'm like, you go, Roseanne. Yeah, you won't have a war. You'll have a lot of timeouts, but you won't have a war with the Grandmother Council. I love it. Then we get together and be like, let's just work this out. Okay, yeah. And they'd solve the world's problems and then go off and have cake and tea. So yeah, I love it. But so apparently we don't know who's all calling the shots. And but I'll tell you one thing, I get a lot of red envelopes. I got a lot of red envelopes from Illuminati guys that were like, we want you to join. We're offering you to join. You're going to join. And so I played along. I'll admit I played along because I did that with Disney too. I play along. I want to find out. I'm going to find out.
Of course.
So I go like, okay, what do I have to do? We're going to fly you out and we'll send the vows to you now. And I receive the vow things. I collect them. I'm like, okay, there's that with the red envelopes collection. Good. And they're like, okay, you have to understand though, yours is not to ask, only to obey. And that's where I got to plant a seed though. That's where I drew the line. And I went like, I don't want to give up my sovereignty. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to be anyone's servant in that way. I will serve through my art, but I'm not going to let someone have control over my heart, who I am, my soul. And he's like, well, you have to. You will need to. Nope, sorry. It's been great talking to you. It's been wonderful. I told him that kind of thing. It's like, thanks for all the information and the best to you. Signed it really nice, And I advise people keep it cordial if you can. You can find a lot out when you're one of those groomed guys, But here's the deal. I said no to what the goal was. And I know what the goal was. I was supposed to mislead people. It's basically like an antichrist. Use the face, the smile, the eyes, the pretty look, the boy look I had. And especially it was supposed to target the women. It's supposed to have women go, even if I was caught doing something wrong, the women would go, oh, he seems like such a nice guy. They were counting on the women to go, oh, he seems like a nice guy. I don't know if that would actually happen, but they kept saying that to me, right? That's what would occur. In fact, this SSE tour group that does international Shakespeare tours cast me as Angelo in Measure for Measure because they said, we want you to play the role because women will come to the audience and go, even though he did wrong, he raped this nun, basically, he still is a nice guy. I'm like, my God, looks like a nice guy. Really? No. But anyway, yeah, that's how they bank it. That's how they bank it. But yeah, so now who took my place? You already heard his name mentioned earlier. Who took my place to be the pretty, he had plastic surgery to do it, but who took my place to be the pretty face that's supposed to mislead you into thinking he's going to be your savior? And women especially. Elon Musk.
Really? I don't think he's a pretty boy though.
Well,
or a pretty face.
Well, don't tell us surgeon.
My opinion. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. He took my place. So Elon said yes to the awards, and he's driven up. Remember that Iron Man 2 thing where he splashed him? That's the rewards. You would have seen me there if I'd said yes to the agenda. But I said, like I was approached by the one CIA guy, Lauren Holmberg, on Maui at the Masons. You may have heard me talk about this. And he said, we're fans of your work, fascinated by your story. That's nice. And he goes like, you're going to find stuff in the Masons, going to blow your mind away. He recruited me because I was told I was a performer, award-winning performer on Maui. Therefore, I would do really well with the Brotherhood, where it's just like you just meet and get together and recite things. Your memorization skills would be good. That's what I was told. I wasn't told what was really going on, right? So naive Tom's like, okay. So I got, and then he's telling me all this other stuff. He's like, okay, you're going to see stuff that's going to blow your mind, information. And he said, remember the towers? He said, we can't believe the pancake theory, that people believe the pancake theory. CIA telling me that they're remember I said they want the public to look dumb? So he's telling me that. He's bringing me in, offering the chair, saying about it being elite now. Then he says this. He says, the one caveat is don't try to make a difference. Like, and if you know me at all, if you get to know me at all, what's my response going to be? Right away, I'm going to, I was called Lucky Strike on tour, that Shakespeare tour, because Lucky Strike didn't have a filter really, so I don't filter. I just went right away. But like, no, I have to make a difference. I just like boyishly went, I have to make a difference. The wrong answer. Wrong answer. Right? Just like I did with Robertson's group. In Pat Robertson's group, when I was groomed to be the face of Christian Coalition, FBI gives me the card, it's supposed to be dark and dirty now. And he said, like, the Better Business Bureau wants our records, our financial records. What do you think we should do? No filter. Right away, I went like, well, just give it to him. We got nothing to hide, right? Wrong answer. Wrong answer. Right answer is, in their terms, we don't answer to them. We answer only to God, which is their puppet version of God. So yeah, so that was just bizarre. But Elon Musk said yes. So he's given my tech. X is put in. You know what X stands for when he holds this up?
No.
Final solution. World War II. What was the final solution of World War II? The sustainable planet will be achieved. They said this. Even Bill Gates talked about this. He slipped and even mentioned it. X means the final solution. The final solution is that a sustainable planet will be achieved once we have longevity and we eliminate the fat of society. We eliminate the common of society. We take Maui was supposed to be, and this should give chills, and I mean it too, because we need to turn this around. That's what I'm working for. What happened on Maui? They are trying. I knew this right away when I first arrived, when I was picked up at the airport, and Disney was sponsoring me, and I got the job at the EAL Theater right away with the Disney group. The idea is to form a Epstein Island, basically, an island where it's all elite. You see what's happening with people being pushed out, unaffordable pricing, and the Lahaina, the historic district, rezoned that they can build whatever they want. What's going on? All these movie stars coming in, all these top people, Oprah and all the rest. You're going to create an elite island where the laws let you get away with anything on an island, your own legal structure, in Hollywood, and a servitude class. Pretty boys and pretty girls that are serving the elite. An Epstein Island on steroids, where everything's checked and balanced for the elite only. And when the reset comes, these different islands are the safe havens for the reset, where all the turmoil and horror goes on. And you have a sustainable planet after the fact. We do the cleanup, and now the elite can start touring around.
Wow, I never heard that before.
No one ever knew.
No.
I do.
Yeah, everyone keeps talking about the 15-minute city that's going to be coming there.
Distraction. They're talking about distractions. Yeah. What really is going on? You have to, when they wave this hand, when the magician waves this hand, look at the hand that's not moving. It's distraction. That's why you're not hearing it. Now you'll hear it now. Well, we have a lot of people that copy what we say, but they should give credit to the persons that are originally saying it so we can keep people on track. If they hijack that information and claim it as their own, I have some names I won't say that are doing that kind of stuff for click content. The thing is, you're not giving the true story. You're embellishing and filling in your own blanks on it, and you're giving misinformation at the end on a very important piece of information that could save children's lives, save elderly lives, right? That's why I'm telling you, and it's good to speak it right now, that is the plan. And I was supposed to be part of that elite. There's no accident I was brought to Maui in with the Masons with all those different operative families there and told that I would be blown away. Also, I was going to have safety and be part of that elite society. I was supposed to be that anomaly where I was entertaining them, but also in the status of top tier. So I was to be Elon Musk.
So you said you were groomed. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, I was groomed for that very reason. And the wife, wouldn't get to pick my wife. The wife would be provided me. Interesting. At Robertson's group, her name was Christine. They provided a woman that came up to me and said, "I'm to be yours," when I was being groomed for the position.
Wow.
It's like Robotrons. Yeah.
Wow. But you went along with it at first.
No. What I did was when they asked me the questions, you have the entrance questions they ask you to check you out. I failed the questions. And I can't answer with my heart. So
yeah.
While I was being picked up by the sex ring. And then, so I've never forsaken, I haven't lied on this, but they'll call me a liar and ego and all that stuff because they're D players protect themselves. And that's like my sister does. It's supposed to allow for the putting you away. But no, I'm harmless. And even the head of security of Robertson said, we know you wouldn't hurt a fly. While they're trying to make sure I'd be put away. But yeah.
Unreal.
Fact,
and you
were
you were saying that they shame people by making them look like women. I've seen
that
stuff.
Was the shaming process for the Wachowskis. The shaming process for Will Smith was the slapping incident. That was his shaming process. The shaming process for Mel Gibson was the drunk episode DUI, where he was screaming about the Zionists and actually had a moment of truth while he was inebriated, then was made to apologize. That's a shaming thing. He was made to apologize on the air and continue to steal work. Mel Gibson's allowed to claim the Christian market in the Hollywood spectrum, but he's not being good. He's doing the watered down version where he's allowed to get that market so that, and that's in the screenplay, how they use the church to mislead those outside the program, to steer them where they want. So Mel Gibson's not on the good side. He actually was part of the theft in the beginning with Forever Young. Yeah.
Oh,
And they
wow.
use him as the excuse for how Wachowski got to Hollywood too. They say it was Mel Gibson that brought them in. Why would Mel Gibson bring them in when they failed at everything? How'd they meet? They're in Chicago. Why would he meet them? Their painter contracts fell into business. Didn't write anything. So
who are the top?
Yeah, good.
I was going to say, so who are the top heads? I know you don't know everything, all the different layers, but
Right.
like people like Oprah and Beyonce and Jay-Z, things like that. Who are they in this?
Great question. They are A players,
Okay.
like I was to be, but they're to be known. They're showpieces as A players. I was to be a showpiece. Remember, face of the Christian Coalition, face for the Cabal. That means I'm a showpiece. My
Okay.
job's to be seen. What you find a lot of times is a lot of the main powers behind all this, when they talk, if they talk to me, they'll use a different name. They'll use a code name. And like this guy, Latin for friend, and the anonymous from the story department, So they are very careful and very smart on how they play their cards, when they contact you. And that's one of the, I just made me think of it. That's one of the ways you can know what you're dealing with an A player. A D player is gonna, like Sophia Stewart, when she called me after the programs were being cut, she goes, "Do you know who this is? It's this all ego thing. It's all ego." And I'm like, "Yeah, you sound." I knew who it was because the voice is very distinct, Manhattan Projects. But I said, "You sound familiar." That's all I said. I just said that. I played her back. Sophia Stewart. Oh. It's like, it's just the ego is just my sister. Her ego now is just like, I can't be around it. It's just all about themselves.
Are you afraid for your son?
Yes, I am afraid for my son. That's why what I say to people is do what they do in the sense of they try to figure out what matters to you most, right? They play that on you. My son's lives. So I work with what matters to them most, and it worked. Disney called, and I have the MP3. You have to hear it sometime. This MP3 call. The Disney attorney was talking to me, and I reversed it. I got the cap. You do the conversation very casual. You don't complain. You don't fuss. You don't scream. Have a conversation with them. Slowly implement questions as if you're just off the top of your head, and how to do this. That's what part of the reason I was groomed to be a face of the, to be a leader in the Cabal. I can manipulate, but I don't do it. Only do it to the Cabal. See, I use the talents I have on them, and it works, right? Because I appreciate good hearts. I'm not out to gain. Not all eyes on me. So what I did was I asked, why are they doing this to me and my family? And she bit. She went for it. You hear her talking. You can hear it. Once you know the process I'm using, you can hear it implemented on the tape. It's the same thing with Lenny Coco too. Well, this is the guy who had me pitch this stuff and got this incredible information. Talk about it later. But so she goes, you have to understand, Tom, it's all about power. She's talking, right? It's like a deposition. I was going pre-law anyway, so I used it. So I'm like, okay, well, what do you mean all about power? It's like, why was my son's killed? Well, you have to understand, it's all about power. You were speaking too much, kind of thing. And we're trying to show you that we can get to your children anytime that we want. Your last son. Because I was asking why the cars were pulling up in front by the police and the agencies. They go, they're just doing their job. Just let you know they can get to your last surviving son anytime they want. So you will behave yourself. It's on tape. It's on tape. So at the right time, it's going to all be brought out. And audiences will often rush you. They'll go, "That's good. Play it now. Play it now." As Roseanne said, there's a right timing. It's the right timing for the greatest difference. Let the other side sweat, bring out the right time. It's not fast food popcorn in the bleachers. That's not the way audiences should be. They should be, how can I help? What can I do? The other side says, what's in it for me? They want to be tintillated. They want to be stimulated. That's not what it is. So once we understand our roles and as audience members, we should be helping to protect those of us that are actually getting the work done, getting this information. We should be fueling them to be able to do their job because we're paying the risk. I mean, I've got two dead sons. And why do I keep going? It blew. I had the conversation too with her on the same taped call. I said, well, compassion is better than power. Passion leads to great creativity. I'm planting a seed for Disney, right? I'm trying to convince them. I'm trying to plant a seed. And I said, what the Cabal doesn't understand is that by killing my sons, they only gave me more resolve. I said, now with compassion in me, I'm going to do it for their memory. I will do this job even better, more intense. Well, I will do it well in their memory.
Yeah.
And I think that sunk in. I didn't break. Right? I didn't break. So that's why I'm saying when these people approach, it's not go like this right away. What you can do is engage the conversation. If you have the faculties and the abilities, use those skill sets. High analytical test, high analytical. When I took the I'm not trying to brag, but when I took the military exam for the Navy, Air Force, they said you scored high on everything. You could be Air Force intelligence, CIA. Right? That's why Neo, and when I wrote the Neo character, he's a CIA operative because they were saying they wanted me to recruit as a CIA officer in intelligence. Well, that skill set could be used for us. What I want audiences to do is make it worth it. Make it worth it. If we're sacrificing our dearest blood, we're losing those we care about most. If our property is being taken from us and we're being terrorized, horror is happening to us, make it worth it. One of the greatest words we can hear or phrases, I believe you. Tell somebody who's been crushed, who's lost everything, I believe you. Just say those words. They're not hard to say. And believe it. Lift them. That makes a difference because the other side doesn't want that said. That destroys the agenda and the policy and the tactics of the Cabal. Right there, those words. When humanity comes together, like in the Maui spirit, Hawaii spirit, aloha, and says, I believe you, takes the hands, I believe you, looks in the eyes, I believe you. You have the key to restoring our world, our children safe.
Yeah, I believe you. That's why I asked you to come on the show.
Right. It means the world. It's the greatest thing I could ever hear. Especially when the tactics are all about naysay and destroy.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, we have to do this for your sons. We have to.
Please, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I am not going to let them go down because if you look at what we call him Spielberg. Steven Spielberg did to them, right? Did I show you that? What Steven Spielberg did to them?
Yeah.
No,
you didn't show me. Okay. You didn't show me. I'd like to see it.
I know we're running short on time probably for it, but could I show you? I'll show you that. Let me go to share screen. I need to show you what Steven Spielberg did and how far he went. Remember, HBO is the one that was listed on my copyright for Immortals, right? And that's Game of Thrones and Man in High Castle. Let me go ahead to what Spielberg did. Let's get to it. Here it is right here. Okay, look at this here. This is from Minority Report. Now, if you've seen this before, but Minority Report's Philip K. Dick was the author, and he's passed away, right? The strategy of Mike Lang of Disney and Michael Eisner of Disney, when they got my work in '93, they formed Miramax Films. The strategy was that when an author dies, you can acquire their work by having your attorneys and law offices working from certain venues that you control. So you get the author's work contested, bring it to that venue, and you'll win because the judges will do whatever you want. You won't even let the other side speak. So, or you could buy off family members too, as in our case. So if I would die, they would bring my work forward and they'd have my brother claim it that he had wrote it for Disney. And it would be done deal. I'd be trashed, and Aiden, my sons, would be forgotten. So in this, what Spielberg's doing in 2002, he's taking the Philip K. Dick novel where Philip K. Dick said he never wanted to work altered. Philip K. Dick dies. Now they'll do what the Cabal does. Steven Spielberg says, basically, we think Philip K. Dick would be pleased with our alterations. Seriously. The man that said he didn't want his work altered. He's not around to be asked. But that's the strategy that's placed by Disney and Spielberg. Okay, so what does Spielberg do to alter the work? Well, in Minority Report, which is about pre-crime, right? Pre-crime, committing pre-crime. You're put away for pre-crime, which my sister's supposed to have me put away for pre-crime, whatever she was saying. Captain John Anderton. Well, in Philip K. Dick's novel, there's no captain, no Captain John, no Captain John. Captain is my dad's rank in the Navy. John is my dad's name. John A. Remember John A. from the Matrix? So we have my dad's rank and name as Tom Cruise's character. Tom Cruise's character is going to be put away for pre-crime. He's going to put it in stasis, those field of pods, right, that I had. It's going to be put away in those field of pods forever, just like they were trying to haul me off of SWAT teams. All right. Why is he going to be put away for pre-crime? Well, in the original novel, he's writing a paper or something that's revealing a corrupt senator or something. It's totally different. Nothing about a murder. But in the stolen work, Steven Spielberg, they say his son has been killed. Captain John Anderton, Tom Cruise's character's son, has been killed. What's that son's name? Sean. What's my son's name that was murdered? Sean. So Steven Spielberg commits a pre-crime in 2002, predicting that I'll be put away for pre-crime because of the death of my son. When Sean was killed, I was hauled off and put in Brantford Hospital Psychiatric because obviously I was going to commit pre-crime. And I was fine. Nothing wrong with me. Just hauled off. They did exactly what Spielberg said. Isn't that something?
That's crazy.
Not all. Go to this Man in the High Castle. Now, this is crazy. Let me show you what they did in Man in the High Castle. Also connected to the HBO and everybody, right? Amazon. Man in the High Castle, you've got a bunch of things opening in a file. Remember that was an interrogation scene file, a rap sheet on Neo?
Okay,
Watch
yeah.
what they do here. Watch what they do, how far they go. This is mind-blowing. 9/11, first of all, which is all through the Matrix one. 9/11 is the Matrix one, okay? If I go back real quick, let's look at what they have for me and, okay, here we go. So here's the license. It's on the page, a copy of the license for Neo in that flipping folder, right? You got 9/11 on the bottom, 9/11, September 11th.
Yep.
Okay, there it is. So they were mocking because I was talking to. No, wait a minute. I never even saw this before. Hold on. That's so wild. They have Thomas Anderson P.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Delicious P. Thomas Park Althouse. That's wild. You find it. And what's also interesting was just pointed out to me by a documentary team. Is that remember the birthday was listed as Otika's Ball's birthday, March 11th?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the date of birth here is, if I'm not mistaken, September something, September 13th. So you have two different birthdays, so they can put Otika's birthday in. Isn't that incredible? They doubled down, forgetting about the other one. Okay, hold on. That's pretty wild. I just saw that. But yeah, P's in there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
now, keep making discoveries. Isn't it crazy? What
Yes.
else do they stick in? What else do they stick in? See the hand on the bottom with the red circle?
Yeah.
In Man in the High Castle, in this group of people that were in the rap sheet for Man in the High Castle, the Japanese Kemputai have it, right? You have this hand covering that lower entry throughout the whole scene. At the last second, it slips over, and you have July 2nd. My birthday.
Your birthday.
Now let's stick this aside. That's one. Okay, that's one. Next one. Also in the folder, October 14, Sean's birthday.
Oh.
But they're going to rub it in. They want me to take myself out, which my sister's supposed to say that I will if they put me away for life. I'm not. Again, the memory of the sons and good people are out there. This one right here. See that red box? It's very faint.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do you see there? 12.
7.
That's my other son who was murdered. Kirk's birthday.
Oh.
7. How many do we have so far? 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Next one. Let's do this one first. So many. 11/3. It's reversed in German. So March 11.
March 11.
Birthday. This next one. May 23rd. This one's good. This is listed as the file entry when the picture was taken. In the file, of all these other pictures of the sons, right? We have both sons that were murdered. They have my birthday. We have Chica's birthday, right? 9/11. Well, something's wrong here. Did they make a mistake? My mom was born on May 22nd, 5/22. Why does it say May 23rd? They like to be what? A players like to be clever. You ready for the answer?
Mm-hmm.
In Altoona, Pennsylvania, the morning of Altoona, Pennsylvania, it was May 22nd. It was May 23rd in Okinawa.
Of course.
Okinawa.
Of course.
See how clever they are?
Mm-hmm.
Now we got my mom's birthday. Next one. Wait, we did that one. We got that one. Okay. Now, Smith. The Smiths' names are John is the dad, Thomas is the son. My name's Thomas. My dad's name is John. The John Smith evidence is going to be destroyed by Juliana. My sister's names combined, Julie and Trisha Ann. Remember, this is inside. They're written inside the studios. So the ones that take the work. So you have on the date of this evidence of Smith being destroyed, the tape being destroyed, the evidence that can convict him is the birthday of the woman that I was engaged to, that when she was taken, destroyed my chances of claiming my work back. The evidence was
Oh
destroyed
my
when I got
God.
Otika, March 11th. Now,
Are these photos all from Matrix or different
all
movies? Or
from Man in the High Castle?
Man in High Castle.
All Man in the
Okay.
High Castle. See how they're doubling down on Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. This one's blow away. You brought up the very good point, reiterating on birthdays backwards. What do they mean? What does it mean when a birthday's backwards? You can answer.
Got to be death.
Right. Okay.
Havoc.
Oh, right. Good. Clock above. That hand on that angle is actually pointing to 10 and 5. 10 and 5. Reverse a clock with 10 and 5, you get 7, 2.
Oh, okay.
Backwards. Now, this is a very important. They shot this scene. It runs forever, basically. This lady, Trish Juliana, is there, my sister's name, there under this very telltale bold letters with the clock reversed for a very long time. She's not talking to anybody. She's just there, and they just keep running it and running it. They love this one. Let's keep running this one. Okay. So, clock is backward. Life destroyed. Why was my life destroyed? Because Otika, girl I was in love with, engaged to be married, was taken away. That looks exactly like Otika, named after my sisters. And look at that letters up there. Go with the 4. Pronounce what you think the first 4 letters in gold sound like.
Yeah.
T.
Mm-hmm.
Right. When I introduced her to Bonaventura, the exec who I pitched it to in Warner Bros. In Manhattan, or I'm sorry, Long Island. I said, this is Teak. My nickname for her was Teak. Beautiful wood. Teak. She liked it.
Mm-hmm.
So Teak. So we have her nickname up there. Beautifully done. Right? Gold letters. This is so important to them because when I lost her, they gave the word to the Wachowskis. I was broken. I was hospitalized. It gets worse. Next letters. O-K-U. This is extremely important. State, basically. OKU, it looks like state the way they did, right?
Yeah.
Where did Otika go to college, university? Oklahoma State University. OKU State. Going on? Now, why are they doing this? Now, small minds would go, which D players that have done to me all the time, that push this. D players push this. They go, oh, it's just a coincidence. No, this is layered. But you have this on that with that and that. It's not layered. I mean, it's not a coincidence at all, right?
Right.
This is and the more import in the scene, the more they will dwell on it and the more expensive they'll go into it. Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Yeah. Now,
wow.
Sorry, I know okay. The money is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Okay, let's call up my dad's. It's creepy how my dad looks exactly like the main character they cast for it. I mean, it's insane. I don't know if he's in here, but I don't have to go in. That's the Neuralink Star Trek showing it. Okay, anyway, so here we have my dad's military card. Okay. All right, so let's go back to that thing. Okay, so look at this graphic now. Look how far they go. How far they go. All right, so we got, remember, what's my birthday? 7/2/59?
Mm-hmm.
5, 1, and 1 is what?
5,
7.
1, and 1, 7. Yes.
You got 2 ones. And you got this rubbed in twice at the bottom. See the serial number? You got 5, 6, 3, 3, 2, 6, 3. 5, 6, 3 is 9. 3, 2 is 5. 6, 3 is 9. 5, 9, 5, 9. You got 7, 2, 5, 9 twice. 2, 5, 9, 5, 9. Look at my dad's military registration number. 518, 518, 59, 59.
Oh.
So with people on the inside pointing this stuff out to me,
Mm-hmm.
are they that clever now? Or are they stupid for sticking it in?
Yeah.
So
Both, right?
opinion, they don't want audiences. The deep players are supposed to have cheer audiences on to go, this is just coincidence, right? That's what they want audiences to say and feel powerful and feel important by saying it. But if
Mm-hmm.
audiences go, no, this makes too much sense, the probability is off the charts, now we can beat the ball. See, this is all
That is so weird.
the animatrix clock in the middle, 7259.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the one on the left. This is the reverse of the one on the right. Right. Okay. So you got on the left from Man in the High Castle, when Rick Grimes loses his son is killed, shot, whatever, killed, bitten, dies. The clock is one after the 60. This one's one before the 60. It's opposite of the other entries, right? It has the
Yep.
instead
Exactly
of
opposite.
on the 10 point, instead of the 7, it's on the 5. So reverse
Yep.
the image, right? Reverse the image, and what do you have? 7, 2, 9. In an industry where it's supposed to be 10 or 10. Is that incredible?
That is incredible. I
Who
cannot
did it?
believe that.
Who did it? HBO, Amazon do these things, right? Look also in Man in that Castle. What's the clock pointing to on the wall? Look at Good Omen. Do you see a 7? See a 2? 59?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 2, 59, and 7. And you know what that clock's representing? The exact time the Antichrist comes back. What was that groomed to be? The face of Christian coalition, do what Elon Musk is. What's Elon Musk's job? To make the people think he's their savior, that he's the one who's going to save them. What happens when the presidential elections fall apart? We're supposed to call to see Elon to save us, and the Antichrist takes his seat.
You think he's the Antichrist?
He's supposed to make the way for him. I'm
Ah.
supposed to come around and redo my job. They keep telling me to come home. I keep getting red envelopes.
You mean literally red envelopes you get?
Yes, I have red envelopes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Look at this one. Man, the High Castle. See the 7-2?
Yep.
Look at this one. Ratatouille, the cartoons for the kids. Let's get them thinking. 7-2.
Oh my God.
Let's go this one. Man, the High Castle. No, Walking Dead. Walking Dead. 7-2.
Holy crap.
Amazon with Space Force. 7-2. Now the 2 is leaning towards the 3, but it's 7-2. Look at the name tag. I'll tell you what it says, actually. It says Naird. Naird. Right? So they said that so they can say he's a nerd, right? He's a nerd. Naird. Mark Naird. What's the name of my brother? Mark Laird. Lair. So they changed the L to an N to make it a nerd. And my brother's known for being a nerd. Incredible. Let's go to the anime, which was done by Sony and Warner Brothers kind of snatched it up, which was Crunchyroll out of University of Berkeley, where the attorneys that threw my case were out of University of Berkeley. So you've got Fate Night, and what's interesting is, do you see the 7-2 so clear?
Yes.
Okay. See how it's one past the 6, one past
Yeah.
that means life over. Reversing it while doing 7-2, they had to do 7-2. Is that incredible? On the top anime. Is that incredible?
That is incredible.
On and on it goes. On and on it goes. I'm going to show you this one last thing. Remember, Animatrix is using up everything they wanted to use up from the story that they didn't make up as they went along?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to show you this. The last thing in Animatrix, if I got this right, the last thing are these shots. I want to tell you why. I think you'll be blown away. There's me in a false 302 in that small shot up there. See me being hauled off?
Yeah.
That was hauled off by SWAT teams. Showing
You're kidding.
Oh, they
For
hauled me off.
what?
My sister was employed by this man right here. Remember I said to my sister, this was
Uh-huh.
the lifelong FBI operative who's a congressman. Here he's rewarding her after they hauled me off. Red dress, holding their reward, floor of Congress. Pee Wee Herman of congressmen. Here he is right here
Unreal.
with her again. She's bragging about all the awards she get. Here's the cover article. She talks about
What?
Pee Wee Herman, the congressman, FBI, lifelong FBI, how he went to disrupt Ukraine, sovereign nation, so they could be a puppet state for the Pentagon.
He looks like Pee Wee Herman.
Doesn't he? A vicious, he's part of the gay sex ring. My sister actually says, get this, my former husband had nothing to worry about because Fitzpatrick's flaming gay. Part of the sex ring. So he'll do anything. And I have a congressional candidate who's been running against him named Caroline, who said that he's into all kinds of sex escapades. He's turned gray, bright, like dark, like super gray now. She said because of you, Tom, bringing this stuff forward. So he's never going to stop. Now look at this right here. This guy was appointed to the House Intelligence Committee. What's really wild is the House Intelligence Committee, he's lifelong FBI operative. That's conflict of interest to be a congressman. He gets appointed to the committee that has oversight of all 17 agencies. So the agencies will never have oversight because Pee Wee Herman's going to make sure it doesn't ever happen. And he also says that that he's a lifelong FBI operative. This one he changed it to former FBI. He's trying to cover when I was coming forward.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, he said earlier in this one, look at this right here. After what was done to me, he put a bill forward in Congress that says no police officer can ever be charged with a crime. No agent can never be charged with a crime because police officers and agents never commit crimes. Therefore, there needs to be a law that no one can ever bring a lawsuit against them. Would anyone agree with it? But in this document, he puts this to push it through. He says, let me see if I can find it right here. As the sole FBI agent in Congress, he's not very smart. He's a D player. He just said, as the sole FBI agent in Congress. Now, when I called the FBI the other day to be nice, see if we can work together, they were very, very rude. You know, I played an angle. I said, I was on Roseanne Barr show. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I should be on Tucker soon. She said, ask Tucker to me. Oh, that's really amazing. Then I dropped the bomb. I said, the reason I'm calling is we have a congressman who's named Brian Fitzpatrick, who's saying he's an FBI agent in Congress. We don't have any FBI agents in Congress. He said, no, he's claiming out the document. We don't have any FBI agents in Congress. You need to talk to somebody else. He blew up. I recorded it for quality assurance. So anyway, at the bottom here, look at down. Okay, third paragraph down, last sentence, third paragraph. You see it?
Yes.
Last sentence, third paragraph. What does it say?
As a lifelong FBI agent and staunch, fervent supporter and law enforcement, I simply cannot allow.
You're good. You're good. As a lifelong FBI agent. Is he still an FBI agent?
I guess so. He's lifelong.
Lifelong. And what do you say there? Yep. As a sole FBI agent in Congress? Yeah. He says he's nonpartisan. He doesn't belong to any party. Yeah, you're the FBI party. You're the FBI party on this position to keep oversight from being done. Makes sense? Yeah. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Now, his excuse that's being put forward now, currently, since we're bringing this forward, is that, well, I didn't campaign for Congress while I was on the FBI clock. If you're a lifelong FBI operative, when do you punch in the clock? And when are you off the clock? How's it designated you're off the clock? So when I step on the podium, I'm no longer on the clock. No, you're lifelong. See what I'm saying? Yeah. They're getting caught in their own spin and twist, just like the Wachowskis saying that, they didn't, that they put that stuff in, and it's their own guys that did it. Okay, now watch this. Why is this scene important? The last scene they shot. Why is it so important to them? Put it in. We'll leave it at this. Ready? Because when I pitched the screenplay to Bonaventura, he said, the exec from Warner Bros. Still claims he's Shepard and discovered it. He said, do you have anything else? I said, I have the dream movie. What's the dream movie? Now watch how shallow D players' minds can be. Bonaventura goes, what's the dream player? I said, well, in the dream player, you have experiments being done on these convicts, and they start to realize what happens in their dreams will influence their own bodies, you know. And so this one guy, his one friend is a shark, eaten by a shark, and he's degraded. He sees his friend just mush on the table, just ruined, grotesque. Then an experiment's done where he's responsible for all the other inmates. Final experiment for all these experiments, all horror. He learned to fly in his dream. Right? Learned to fly in his dream. Here's what this comes in. So when he's responsible for all of them in this synced up dream, he tries to teach them like to fly. Imagine. And they start thinking thoughts, things happen, they all get murdered and butchered. So he flies to escape. He wakes up out of the dream. A lab technician's in front of him. He sees a scalpel, grabs it. He now has the power position. Our character. I used the same name for him as it did in Immortals. He's holding the scalpel to them, backing away, feels the ledge of a window, tries to fly to escape. Because it's blurred. So they put that in Inception and had the wife having done the same thing.
Wow.
So they looked at it that way. They weren't shown a script. They were shown a storyboard of the visual images from my work. Now, in the scenes also, before that, not a happy ending. In it, you have the shark guy, the friend that was just devoured and shredded. In the dream, he meets him shredded in this movie I was pitching to Bonaventura. Wachowski's going to see all this, hear all this. It was taped. So up comes his friend talking normally. Grotesque as anything, talking normally. What's wrong? What's wrong? Because he's looking horrified at his friend. What's wrong, Jim? What's wrong? He said, and he gets the idea. My character gets the idea. I'm going to touch you. He says, I'm going to touch you. You'll be okay. I'm going to touch you. He thinks he can change him in a dream back. He's in a dream. He touches him, and the guy screams bloody murder. It's a jump scare. So what did the Wachowskis do when they heard this? First of all, they put phone booths in the Matrix because they thought the dream movie sounded like Superman, and you fly to escape. Let's use Superman. Let's give Neo Superman powers. We're not supposed to have them. And we'll have phone booths. It's so stupid because all the agents need to do is limit the number of phone booths, case them out, and you got them every time like idiots, dogs running to a kennel. So anyway, what happens in this, though, the last thing they're going to, right, they wanted to make up as they go along. The last thing is, look at the visuals. We have the deceased girl, human girl, right, dies. The robot, it's not supposed to be robots, it's human-like people, robot-like. The robot puts the girl back in the dream. Ah, sound familiar? Then what is he going to do? He's going to what? Touch her. Try to heal her, right? When he touches her, what happens in the dream movie? She freaks out. Can you believe that? Wachowskis took it verbatim.
Yep.
Right there, overblown. Isn't that incredible? Now, here's the
That
good
is.
news. And boy, later sometime, you ever want to do it again, we can go over the inserts, how stupid the lifting was done. Unbelievable. But here's the saving grace for us all. Not Elon Musk. The Holman rule. What can happen now? Because a lot of the Congress are frustrated with how the Pentagon's been able to thumb their nose at Congress because they won't allow any oversight. They won't show them information. So the Holman rule reduces salaries of specific federal employees, agencies, fire specific federal employees, heads of the CIA agencies, cut specific programs to fund the agencies. The Holman rule can be enacted if we do one particular thing. Get rid of this Pee Wee Herman man. Let's illustrate this clearly. Get this guy out of office so he no longer can cover up for this. So no longer will he be able to steer all agency oversight away from Congress. Congress can have oversight. He's out. He's behind bars for using taxpayer money for false arrests and everything else. And we get our country. Trump knows this. Roseanne Barr knows this. Everyone's learning this. The problem is, after I made this clear, Elon Musk started coming into Trump's circle. Now Elon Musk has influence on Trump. See what's going on. A lot of the constituency was concerned. Why is he supporting this? Why does he have this guy there? Because Trump needed the votes. So we have a weird situation of who's in control of who. See what's playing out here? Disney calls the chess game. Trump has the information.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline, the representative that was running against this Huey Herman guy, she said that Trump had it, but he wasn't going to do anything about it right now. So I think he's trying to get as much vote power as possible until maybe deal with this. But when you're a politician, a lot of times you have compromises here, there, over there. So it may fall on my shoulders to push this through.
Uh-oh.
Since Roseanne put me on the limelight, Roseanne and Trump are super, super close. Elon and I
Are they?
yeah, very close, very, very close.
Wow.
In fact, Roseanne called me from the stage at Trump's rally and then from his home, basically.
Oh
So,
my God.
so
That's cool.
I'm trying to encourage one way. Elon's going to encourage the other. I'm going to try to encourage Elon to do the right thing, like I did. Don't mislead the public on the Neuralink. Elon's not telling you the bad things about Neuralink. I am, and there's a lot of bad things. It was meant for the screenplay. It was meant for this, for the story. It wasn't meant to be made. In fact, Warner Brothers attorneys said, "You're just sitting on it. You're not doing anything with it. Therefore, we're serving the public by taking it." They actually told me. They're serving the public by taking my work because I'm just sitting on it. That's your rationale?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I've said a lot to you, but it's like I
You
think
did.
get the idea of what's going on.
Thank you. Yeah. So looking back though, would you have done anything differently in terms of how you approached this situation from the beginning?
One thing I would have done differently, and I'll speak it honestly. Cabal, Senator David Bourne's niece, she kept asking me. I'm like super honest to a nauseating degree, but I had to be for what I have to do. It was one thing Cabal said, Tom's difficult. He's like, deadly honest, lucky strike, deadly honest. Kept saying to me, she kept saying, "Do you know how much I love you?" And it sounds very personal, but I think I need to illustrate this. The only answer I could do, and call me an idiot too, but the only answer I could do is, "I think so." I wanted to make sure I knew exactly in my heart before I answered, so I wouldn't be lying. And I pushed her away in a sense too. When they got her and I was destroyed is when they gave it to Wachowskis. This all could have been different. The Rockefellers were grooming us both, and we're at Colonial Williamsburg, and agencies were fans of us. We could have steered the world the right way. And when she left, I broke from me being honest. And then when I finally got it down is when they took her away, enticed her away. So what I would have done is they put it in Star Trek. They had Captain Kirk saying, when he's reliving his life in the Star Trek series, he goes, "I made eggs. I'm going to go up those stairs. I'm going to tell her how much I care about her." Well done, Star Trek. Well done, Universal Studios. My work went there. Nice stab, because that's what I would have done. I would have made that dinner. I would have walked up the steps and told her, "Yes, I will. I'll wear that ring. I'm going to save this world."
Yeah. Yeah.
So isn't that something?
Wow. It
They
is
actually
something.
mocked that in Universal Studios too. But,
Wow. Are you doing any other creative projects right now? Currently working on anything?
tons of stuff. Yeah, I am like flying all over the place. In fact, I wanted to tell you, it's very funny. I had a tie in one hand, I had the other thing in the other. I was running about, and just before I got on the air here with you, I threw my tie to the side. The cat's watching me. Always on the fly, And then I try to.
I saw your cat. It's so cute.
Yeah, he's a part fawn, which is like Turkish water cat.
Oh.
So I do dishes. He's in the sink.
Oh.
Batting at it and all that stuff, and always there. If water's running, shower, he's at the shower. Loves water.
Oh my
So it's the one breed that loves water and actually swims in water.
Wow.
Love him.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's cute.
Yeah, he's cute.
Well, where can our listeners find your work and stay updated to any of the developments on your legal case regarding the Immortals?
Great question. It's been done so easy for me. The reason the tech was done in the Immortals, that the Neuralink and everything else, was because I wanted tech to be easy. You put your palm up on a panel in your bank account, so everything reads out. No passwords needed. It's your palm. But it's like, so those things were being done like in 89, 93. But so this wonderful lady, Jen Marie, out of Chicago, she did a website for me. She's like, Tom, you'll never forget it. It's called tomalthouse.com. I'm like, that works. I won't forget that. I mean, it sounds sort of like the Sophia Stewart thing, but for my case, I need something like that I won't forget. So yeah.
Awesome.
I'm always thinking creating in layers. So it's like I don't have time to try to remember other things. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tom, for being here today. and sharing your incredible story and the voices of your sons. I really appreciate that, and I wish you the best of luck in your continued fight for recognition and justice for your
Thank you.
sons, for sure. And I know the listeners will enjoy listening to this, and hopefully they will follow your journey closely. I
I
appreciate
appreciate
it.
that so much. And then what I would say to people is keep it simple. Don't listen to all the noise. Use the gifts you have to discern exactly what's going on. Judge the way we speak. Do we show you evidence? If you see the people that are really being set upon, not groomed by the media, chances are we're your real deal. We're going to fight for you in memory of our sons and our daughters. So thank you.
That brings us to an end of another episode. I want to thank my guest, Tom Althouse, for sharing his incredible story and shedding light on his ongoing fight for recognition and justice for his sons. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, please take a moment to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share this episode with your friends. To dive deeper into topics like this, please head over to my website, sensiblehippie.com, for more blog posts and related content. You can also support the show by checking out the links below to purchase products I personally recommend. Your support helps keeps this podcast running. And don't forget to follow me on Patreon for exclusive content and behind-the-scene discussions. Until the next time, guys, ahui ho kako!